It's time for another ghost story. And the United Kingdom is rife with stories like that, so we're going there, and more specifically to Raynham Hall in Norfolk, England, to find out the story about the ghost of a lady dressed in brown. This is a series where I tell you a story, its subsequent theories and explanations, and then I'll let you make up your mind. This time we are studying a ghost known as the Brown Lady of Raynham Hall. Dorothy Dolly Walpole was born on the 18th of September 1686 at Houghton Hall in Norfolk. She was the sister of the famous Whig politician and first British Prime Minister Sir Robert Walpole, and aunt of the prolific writer, historian and politician Horace Walpole. Yeah, famous family then, eh? She fell deeply in love with the young Lord Charles Townshend, who asked her father Robert Walpole for her hand in marriage. He refused, and the heartbroken Charles shortly afterwards married Elizabeth Pelham, daughter of the first Baron Thomas Pelham of Lawton, who died in 1711, leaving Charles a widower with 5 surviving children. Wow, he's gonna need a wife, and soon! He eventually met up with Dorothy again, and the two married in 1713. During their 13 years of marriage, they had 7 children, with 6 reaching adulthood. But what Charles didn't know was that during the time they had been apart, Dorothy had an affair with the notorious Lord Wharton, father of the famous first Duke of Wharton, the founder of the Hellfire Club. When Charles found out eventually, he flew into a terrible rage and locked Dorothy in her rooms, forbidding her from ever seeing her children again. Dorothy remained in prison until her death in 1726, reportedly from smallpox.
Adulterers beware!
They're gonna lock you up! Well, these days they just separate, right? There are alternative endings to the story, as some believe that she died of a broken neck after falling or being pushed down the stairs, whilst others insist the funeral in 1726 was a sham and that Dorothy died years afterwards. Why can't they ever agree on the true story? On top of that, many people who call the second Viscount Lord Charles Townshend an abusive and evil husband are actually contradicted by evidence of contemporary sources that say he had integrity, honor and a natural warmth of his temper. It is said that Lady Lucy Wharton was somehow responsible for entrapping Dorothy at Raynham Hall, as both Lady Wharton and her husband turned a blind eye to each other's affairs. During Dorothy and Wharton's brief flirtation, Lady Wharton supposedly lured her to Wharton's London residence to ruin the girl's reputation. Saucy stories in England. Whatever the truth to the story of the manner of her death, everybody agrees that Dorothy never really left Raynham Hall, and that her spirit still wanders the hall, looking for her children, from which she was so cruelly separated. A young King George VI allegedly claims to have seen the Lady Raynham haunting his bedroom when he spent the night at Raynham Hall. The Prince of Wales left the hall immediately, declaring that he would not spend another hour in the accursed house, for tonight I have seen that which I hope to God I will never see again. When the king is scared, you better get scared too. However, the first attested appearance of the Brown Lady ghost when during a Christmas gathering in 1835, held by Lord Charles Townshend, the outline of a woman wearing an old-fashioned brown dress standing in the doorway of one of the rooms was witnessed by several guests. The Ghost of Christmas Past. The following evening, Colonel Loftus saw her again, but this time he was able to study her more closely. According to Loftus, she appeared to be a genteel woman with an aristocratic bearing, but to his horror, her eyes seemed to have been gouged out. Oh my god, that's real nightmare stuff. I don't think I'm gonna sleep tonight. The author and Royal Navy Captain Frederick Marryat visited Raynham as part of a hunting party. 3 men, including Marryat, were walking down the dark and gloomy corridor when they saw the figure of a melancholic woman carrying a light approaching them. As she approached, Marryat recognized her as the woman from the portrait in his bedroom. The apparition stopped in front of Marryat, turned to face him and grinned in a malicious and diabolical manner. Marryat shot and the woman vanished. The bullet lodged into the door across the way. Yeah, well, you can't kill something that's already dead. We're doomed. Many more tales about encounters at the foot of the bed, in the halls and on the staircase in Raynham Hall became known. She is described as a ghostly figure of an aristocratic lady wearing an old-fashioned brown dress with a pale face and disheveled hair, and of course, no eyes. On September 19, 1936, Captain Hubert C. Provant and his assistant Indri Shira, both working for the Country Life magazine, were sent to Raynham Hall for an article. They had already taken a photograph of the hall's main staircase and were setting up to take a second when Shira reported she saw a vapory form gradually assuming the appearance of a woman, and it was coming down the stairs towards them. Just get out of there. Run, I tells you, run! Provant quickly took the cap off the lens while Shira pressed the trigger to activate the camera's flash. When the negative was developed, the infamous image of the brown lady appeared before them. On December 26, 1936, the story was published in Country Life magazine along with a photograph. Later it also appeared in the January 4th edition of 1937 of Life magazine. What do you do when you see a ghost coming towards you? Do you run? Of course not. You take a picture and stick around, idiots. Not long after, paranormal investigator Harry Price interviewed Provant and Shira, he concluded, "I will say at once I was impressed. I could not shake their story, and I had no right to disbelieve them. And the negative is entirely innocent of any faking." Well, the picture was investigated by C.V.C. Herbert of the Society for Physical Research, and he stated that the brown lady photo was most likely the result of double exposure and equipment failure. He found Shira and Provant to be honest, but that Shira was rather superstitious, and although the developer claimed that the image was indeed originally on the negative, there seemed to be evidence of double exposure. Skeptics. It's always a hoax or a magic trick with them. Other critics say that Shira faked the image by putting grease or a similar substance on the lens. One of them moved down the stairs during an exposure, or it's an accidental double exposure. Joe Nickel did a detailed examination of the photograph claiming double exposure. And on top of that, John Fairley and Simon Welfare stated there is a pale line above each stair tread and patch of reflected light at the top of the right hand banister appears twice. Maybe they were seeing double that day. Glop glop. The magician John Booth wrote the photograph could easily be duplicated by naturalistic methods and he faked a ghost image that looked very similar to the Raynham Hall photograph. And yet other critics point out that the image of the lady very closely resembles that of a standard Virgin Mary statue that can be found in any Catholic church. Okay, I get it already. You believe it's fake. An intriguing backstory that has its own alternate truths and unsolved mysteries, coupled with strange sightings including one of a future king, and topped off with arguably the most famous ghost picture that's possibly faked. I actually don't want to be in your shoes when you decide. If I forgot something or you have something to add, don't hesitate to do so. If you wish to do your own research, the links in the description might be a good start. Your thoughts and opinions are much appreciated, so drop a line in the box below. Just be respectful in the comments, as there are real people with real feelings on the other side. If you enjoyed this vid, you can like and share and subscribe to my channel, and you may want to click the little bell to receive notifications. I have my Raphael's World channel you might want to check out, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!